Carlos Ramsey's with the Enhancing Mind. I got a doozy for y'all today. Why is perspective important? We know that perspective is the angle that you see the world in. If you can shift your perspective, shift the way you see the world, then maybe you'll see the world in a different light and begin to see solutions available to you that weren't there before, or begin to see problems that aren't actually there. And that is exactly why perspective is so important. Perspective is the lens you see the world in. A lens that hyper focuses on certain things, ignores others, and calibrates your reactions to what you're exposed to depending on how you see it. And because of this, we have to actively protect ourselves from information, organizations, people, and institutions, life events, anything that aims to change our world perspective. Because whoever or whatever controls your world perception can control you. We can see examples of this in politics today. Too many people allow their worldview to be molded by external factors. You ask these people why they see the world the way they see it, and they start pointing out reactions, right? Like, well, the government or politics or social issues, the economy, they start pulling pain points. Few people will answer that their worldview, their perspective, is based off of what they would like the world to be or based off of what they would like to create and see more of. Very few people give an introspective response. So if I ask you, what is your life perspective? What answer would you give me? Would you even know how to answer that question? It could be a tough question to answer, I'll be honest, because it was a tough question for me at one point. And when I looked into why that was, I realized it's because as children, our perspective is initially built by normal reactions to our uncontrollable life events. What do I mean by that? As we grow up, things happen to us, and as children, the majority of our life events are out of our control. Sometimes our reactions are as well, and as a result, our perspective of what the world means, of what we mean, can reflect not our genuine worldview, but a circumstantial worldview. In this way, perspective is almost developed for us, not by any one person or any one event, but from our specific day to day life, just in general. Again, a life that's mostly out of our control, at least at the beginning. We get used to this, and as a result of as a result, many of us get stuck in allowing external events to continue to form our perspective in our adult years. We go from children with little to no control over our life events to adults with full control over our life events. And you would think that once this independence comes into play, that the majority of people would begin to take control of their life perspective and begin to form it, shape it into how they want to see the world, and not on how they have to see the world. But that doesn't happen often, unfortunately. We see it today. You might be guilty of it yourself. We turn to media sources to tell us how we feel and how to think. We turn to music. We turn to other people, to leaders, celebrities, etc. We turn to other things to tell us how to view our world and maybe even how to view ourselves. And is it our fault that we do that? Well, yes and no. Yes, because we are adults and we should take accountability and try harder always. But also no, because when it's all you know, it's all you know. And without awareness, we can go our whole lives without realizing that we even have this issue. These emotional and mental underdevelopments can be hard to perceive as underdevelopments in the first place. Therefore, it doesn't seem like anything needs fixing. And I believe that's what this phenomenon is. I believe it's an emotional stunt, an inability to grow past that portion of our lives. We're so used to perspective being formed for us that most of us don't bother getting away from that model, even in our adult years. Perspective is built for us in childhood and adolescence because of the lack of control of our environment, and many of us never take off the training wheel, so to speak, and begin to build our own independent worldview. And why is that? What's the common denominator here? Well, I believe The underlying factor here is control of our environment. I will say this, I have seen a correlation between people that break free to form their own independent worldview and a level of control of their lives, right? A constant upward trajectory, lots of effort, lots of accountability. On the flip side, I have noticed that people that struggle with forming their own genuine opinions and worldview also tend to struggle with creating stability in the multiple areas of their lives. They have trouble with adulting, per se. Maybe a big reason for this underdevelopment is that many adults struggle with taking control of their environment, just like they did when they were children. They may be adults now, but that lack of environmental and or self-control is still present. That might be the stunting factor. Who knows? I don't have enough data to call it a concrete observation yet, so it's all conjecture for now. I will say this, though. This I do know. Take care of your worldview. Take life events, information, people, all that stuff with a grain of salt. I mentioned the berry field. Consciously pick past the rotting fruit and only add to your bowl the information that will serve you well on your path to self mastery. Take control of your perspective. How do we do that? How do we do that right now? Meditate. You guys know how I love meditation. Meditate and begin with awareness. Become aware of what belief systems are actually yours and which ones aren't. Then look within and figure out exactly who it is you want to be without restraints, without wanting to please anyone or afraid of anyone's judgment. If you had everyone's full support to bring out who you are within, what would that person look like? Who is that person? Once that's done, or once you finish up there, turn your mind to the world and don't look at the world as it is. You're probably doing that right now. The foundation of your worldview is probably rooted in your reaction to the current state of the world. Let's flip that. Forget about how the world is. Rather, focus on what kind of world you'd want to live in and try to figure out, how does your genuine self, the self that you just discovered, how does this person play a role in shaping that world that you want to live in? I bet you there is a correlation between who you want to be and that version of you shaping the world in the way you'd like to see it. If there is, you found your harmony. You found your independent perspective. Meditate on it. Write it down or vlog your discovery. We have short memories, at least I do. I'm always busy. I have to record everything and review it weekly, or for it to set in, for it to make a lasting impression. Who knows? Maybe doing that will help you too. But record it and go over it. You don't have to do it daily, but consistently. Repeat this self and worldview to yourself over and over until you become it. Perspective is the foundation to thoughts and actions. Repeat your newfound perspective over and over until your habits and actions and internal dialogue begin to shift to complement this budding version of your genuine self. Like a giant boat takes a long time to turn itself onto a new course, so too will your thoughts and actions slowly start to change with your updated, independent perspective. Most importantly, protect your worldview from others. Let go of the past and focus on the present to take an active role in your future. This is how we move forward. That's all I've got for you. Carlos Ramsey's with the Enhancing Mind. Talk to you soon.